So there is a formula for all of those who are wondering whether there is really a formula for viral content or where there is something that really works, or what are the aspects of really going viral and getting great reach and impressions on Instagram and TikTok. I want to tell you that there is a formula, and this is the formula that we've uncovered working with thousands of creators for our software quso.ai. And I've worked with several bigger creators in the past in my decade-long experience as somebody who was doing social media and video content. And the formula for viral videos on Instagram and TikTok or any other short video platform specifically is what I like to call the HMC formula, right? If you are able to put in H, M, and C inside the content that you are seeing or the content that you're creating, then it is very, very likely that even if your videos don't do millions of views, you will start getting business from Instagram and TikTok. And that's the difference that I want to, sort of showcase to you, that it is not necessary to get millions of views from your Instagram or your TikTok profiles. You need to get thousands of right views, and that pretty much changes everything. And that's exactly what we're going to be covering in today's formula and the analysis that I'm going to show to you today. What is HMC? H stands for the hook of the content, the first thing that you see in any content, and you would have seen this all over the internet, right? Hooks are important when it comes to short videos, right? Whenever we are scrolling, think about your own scrolling behavior when you're checking out Instagram or TikTok. You're going scrolling, right? And your thumb is just going without you even thinking about it. But the reason you stop on any of these videos is when something really catches your attention, when something feels personalized, when there is, in some cases, shock value. In some cases, there is something that's unexpected, or it builds anticipation. These are different qualities of hooks. And, there are a variety of hooks that you can use in your videos, things that come naturally to you, things that you can use with GPT. And we're going to cover a lot of these things over the course of this entire workshop. But what's important for you to understand is that if your video is starting with, hey, my name is Vedant and this is what I do, etc., that's not going to work. In today's day and age, when audiences have so many options of how they can spend their time on social media, if you're not able to hook them in properly, then it just doesn't matter what the rest of the content is. So the hook in today's day and age, the first 3 seconds, just to quantify what the hook is, the hook is the first 3 seconds of your video. And that's the reason that people are going to stay with you. Now, there are varieties of ways in which you can create hooks, right? You can use ChatGPT to brainstorm hooks. You can see visual hooks that people, sell on the internet. There are lots of hook packs that are available online. There are ways, tons of options of being able to do that. But the point is that if your short videos in today's day and age don't have a hook, then you're doing something wrong. And so that's the first part of the HMC formula. All your videos need to have a hook, which is the first 3 seconds of your video that's going to draw that viewer in, either with shock value, either with a promise, either with deep personalization, either with anticipation. All of these things are valid hooks. And then we're going to see some examples of how people are using, and I'm going to ask you to identify what you feel like are the hooks in those videos that we're going to check out through the course of this workshop. The next part is the M. Now, what is the M? The M is the meat of the content. Once you've hooked somebody in with a promise, with some anticipation, something that grabs their attention, the most part of your video, which is like, let's say if you have a 30 or 40-second video, the first 3 seconds are the hook. Then the meat is the majority of the video. That's the promise of the hook, right? And so these two have to be very, very closely aligned in order for you to work in most cases. So the transition from your hook to the meat of the content has to be very, very seamless. Otherwise, people will drop off after that. They will just choose to swipe up, and then the video is gone, and all the work that you put into that video is absolutely gone down the drain. So the meat of the content is essentially where your expertise comes in. That's the part where whatever you know and understand about your industry or whatever it is that you are creating content on, that's where the meat of the content lies. And that's where you are informing your users. You are building trust and authority with them. And we're going to see examples of how people are doing this. And you are delivering to them whatever you promised to them in the hook. So in the hook, for example, for this webinar, the hook was secrets to viral growth on Instagram and TikTok. That got your attention. You registered for the webinar. Now, the meat is what's happening right now, right? The meat is what is being delivered right now. And this is the bulk of the content. And if the meat is not good, and if it does not relate to the hook at every step, then you risk losing people. Whether it's a webinar or even whether it's a short video, the principles really apply, right? So the meat is where your expertise comes in. The meat is where viewers are going to spend time listening to you, building trust in you. It gives you the opportunity to build authority over them, inform them about specific aspects of your content and your service and whatever business it is that you do. And finally, we come to the C in the HMC formula for viral videos for Instagram and TikTok. The C is the single most important thing that most businesses do not do. And that's why they get a lot of views, but they're not able to convert them into customers. The C is the CTA, or the call to action for your videos. It's great to have videos that do tens or hundreds of views or thousands of views. But if you are somebody who wants to take those views and sell a service online, or if you're selling some sort of a product online, right? And if your main goal is not ad revenue, if your main goal is ad revenue, then this does not apply to you. But if your main goal is to create content on Instagram and TikTok to sell some kind of service, to sell some kind of product, to sell some kind of consultation, most people don't put in a call to action. If I've seen your hook and your meat, what do I do about it? Is there a compelling reason where I should be getting in touch with you? How do I get to know what your offer is, or what is a free thing or a lead magnet that you're giving to me? CTAs can be a variety of things, but if you do not highlight it in your videos, then you risk losing all of those people who will watch your video. They enjoyed it. They probably did a heart and then they walked away, never to ever come back to your video or to your content. CTAs are a great way to get these people into your system. In some cases, you would have seen these videos on Instagram and TikTok where they ask you to reply to one of the saying, reply with this word and I will send you a link, or I'll DM you a link. That is the CTA in that case, because it registers interest in a form that is more than just a like, or just anything else, right? So the CTA can be as simple as comment DM and I'll send you a DM. It can be as complex as register for this webinar that I'm doing next week that will tell you more about this. But without a CTA, and again, we are going to see great examples of the CTA as well over the course of the next 45 minutes. But the CTA, if you don't do it, then your views will just be views. They are not going to translate into business outcomes, right? Because you're not telling your potential customers what exactly it is you want them to do after watching the hook and the meat. But that puts together the HMC formula for viral videos on Instagram and TikTok. Does that make sense to you? Do you have any questions? If you have any questions, drop them on the chat right now. If you have something else that's going on your mind, or something that's not clear to you in whatever I have told you about so far, then drop that in the chat as well. We are soon going to go into examples of HMC. I know these are just letters on a screen right now, and to be able to visualize them properly, I want to make this interactive. So I'm going to ask you to identify the hooks and the meats and the CTAs from a bunch of videos and a bunch of channels, and then we're going to take this conversation forward.